Hello, everyone. It's me, Gabriel, and I'm here to tell you about a brand new subscription box service called Thrift Gift. Thrift Gift offers the convenience of home delivery services such as DoorDash and Postmates and combines it with the excitement of a monthly blind box chock full of gifts from countless thrift stores from around the country. Let me tell you how this works. By the time you sign up for Thrift Gift, an army of Thrift Gift shoppers have already assembled thousands of boxes full of the coolest, one-of-a-kind vintage items that can only be found in a second-hand store. After you sign up, these amazing boxes will be sent to your home every month for an affordable, low price. But that's not all they offer. You can sign up to become one of the Thrift Gift shoppers and receive $40 for each box you assemble and drop off to a Thrift Gift customer. There you go. It's a win-win from all sides. Now, the fine people at Thrift Gift have already sent me 3 boxes to open right here, right now for the podcast. All right, here we go. So, this is box number 1. I'm opening it now, and I'm pulling out the first item that is... Okay, it's a coffee mug that reads Dole Kemp, 1996. You know, that's funny. Probably put in there ironically. I get it, it's funny. Okay, let's see what else we got here. The next item is a Mandy Moore CD single that features the song Walk Me Home. Oh, let me look at the bag here. Does it at least have candy on this? Nope, just Walk Me Home, parentheses short intro, and Walk Me Home, parentheses long intro. All right, let's just keep pushing forward. Okay. We have a homemade t-shirt that has a photo of a young man wearing sombrero, just yelling at the top of his lungs, and below it, it reads, "We'll miss you, Nate." Probably made for a going-away party, no doubt. Okay. Now let's see what it says on the back. It reads 1989 to 2012. You know, it's probably just the years that this Nate character lived in this particular town before moving, I'm sure. Okay, let's move on to the next box. And I'm opening it now. And yeah, okay, it's just full of calculators. Okay, you know what? Forget it. Forget the last box. Forget you heard this ad. Forget this ever happened. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome back to Time Mule. I'm Gabe.
I'm Jason.
And it's me, Mike. It's been a while. It's been a while, guys. You know, I have that song Dance Into the Fire by Duran Duran stuck in my head right now. What Bond movie is that from?
That
View
was
to
from
a Kill.
A View to a Kill.
Oh, okay. That wasn't a good one. Jason, anything new in your life since we last recorded?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I hung out with you in person, which was something we haven't done in a long time.
We've shown the behind the scenes a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know if the
So
audience
we're not in the
should
same
hear
room.
this, but we did. We hung out on a dock.
Oh,
That's
wow.
actually true. So the situation, in case you don't know, Time Mule audience, Jason and Gabe, they're out in California, and I'm in New England, home of maple syrup and constant misery. Not for me. People are miserable here. Anything happened with you, Gabe, since we last? Any revelations?
Well, I've found out that my social anxiety came back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Same
I thought
here.
I beat that, and then I didn't see anybody for like a year and a half, and then I went to a gathering, and I was like, oh, I don't know how to interact with people.
Yeah, it was
That's fun.
Yesterday was because I went back to work this week, and jeez, it's like it's like I'm wrestling a bear all day. It's horrible. I wanted to run this past you guys because I was thinking, like, these thoughts just pop in my head, like Rocket from the Crypt. They're not famous, are they? What would you say? Because I have an assumption that I think they are more famous than they actually are.
I can answer this for you right now. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Really? There you go. For some reason, I think like that's a reference people get. No one knows that. I don't think a lot of people know the band Rocket from the Crypt. What do you think, Jason?
No.
I know the name. I don't know the music.
Oh, there you have it. See,
It's a lot bigger in your head.
I know, and that's a little troubling. Like, what else do I think?
Well, before we were recording, I was talking about how years ago I used to work at a record store. And so I just know album covers for a lot of things that I never heard the music, but I could tell you what certain album covers are, what year things came out, just from filing stuff all the time. So we were talking earlier how I said I didn't know any Nancy Griffith music, just checked her out recently, but I could describe many of her album covers to you.
Yeah, what record, like when you get new records in, which record do you think you've seen the most / and also have never heard?
Oh, never.
I would go with that one, Year of the Cat, because I always see that when I'm flipping through records.
Yeah, I know that album. The one.
Year of the Cat. Yeah, my parents actually had that one.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've heard that song.
The song is great. So the record that I think I've seen the most working at a record store and even just flipping through records is this Boz Scaggs album. And he's sitting on a bench and it's kind of dark and he's turned to one side. I've seen that in so many record bins. And he was just a guy that I would goof on a lot just because of the name, but I didn't really know anything about the music. But then I was watching, I forget which movie it was. It was a Michel Gondry movie. And there's a scene where there's a bunch of people just kind of like dancing in a little club or something. And there's this exceptionally catchy, kind of funky song playing in the background. And I looked it up after and I was like, that's Boz Scaggs? Like, I like Boz Scaggs.
Boz Scaggs.
Yeah.
I love him. My parents had that album too. Everything you're describing right now, my parents had like in their collection. I guess they were just really basic.
Well, albums.
Apparently they're good.
Yeah.
Apparently either they have really great taste in music or the same shit that you see at every record store.
These albums are all things I've heard, but these are ones I've just seen so many copies of. There's Eagles, Desperado, Fleetwood Mac, Rumors. There's just ones that, because at the time in the 70s, those albums sold, I don't know.
Yeah.
50 million copies, and then they have to go somewhere after people give away their record players. So those records are just everywhere. And the one thing that was always funny is people would come in and they'd be like of a certain age bracket that would have bought those when they were in their teens and 20s. And they'd go up to you and they go, "So I hear vinyl's making a real big comeback, huh? Well, I got some really cool records in here for you." And then you just know, oh, I'm going to ruin their day because I'm just going to be like, I can give you like 50 cents for this. This is like common.
It's like Who's Next?
Well, Who's Next, I think, has a little more value than some of these. But yeah, there's just some things that I'm not like saying that. I mean, I actually love Fleetwood Mac, but they just blew the doors open as far as album sales. So there's just so many of those out there. And before they made a comeback, those were things you can get for $1.
You know which artist I see like all the time at thrift stores? Johnny Mathis.
Yes.
It's like everywhere in like thrift stores. That and like Herb Alpert, which I actually really like Herb Alpert a lot. So I just picked those up right away.
Someone I knew a long time ago bought a record player from a thrift store. And Herb Alpert was on the turntable. It was like that is like a classic combination of everything a thrift store has to offer. Once I found at a thrift store, what I found out later was the entire catalog of Mark Almond / Teardrop Explodes. Now, I only know the one album that most people know by Teardrop Explodes. Or am I doing a Rocket from the Crypt thing here again? But anyway, it's the one like you see. A lot of that stuff, I don't know, man. But I do have everything Mark Almond has released until a certain year.
Now, who is Mark Almond? Is he like the other guy? Because Julian Cope was one of the guys, right?
Maybe it's Julian Cope. Maybe I made that name up.
It's a nice name.
It is a good name. That might be my alias.
Yeah, that's going to be your alias when you need to hide in a motel.
I'm going to look up Mark Almond because I feel like, well, he was in the Mark Almond band.
Of course.
Oh, really? Who would have thought?
I saw them open for Brownsville Station in 79.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Wait. This is so confusing.
Probably played shortstop for the Angels in 1962.
Okay. Mark Almond, the Mark Almond that you're probably thinking of, was in Soft Cell.
Oh.
Yeah, but there's a band
Yes.
there's a band called Mark Dash Almond.
I think he probably went solo at one point. He seems like he was too big for that band. Like, you could tell. Let's watch that video. He's got to get out.
He's
They
too
were
big
holding
for
him
that.
back. He really was, or is. I don't know. Sorry, Mr. Almond. I know you listen. That's the thing, though. Like, sometimes if there's like a celebrity you kind of rank on, you just do it with your friends. But like, I do that too. But if I ever like met that, I'd be like, "Oh, hello, Mr. Cage. Yes, Mr. Cage. I love all your movies. Oh, I'm
Nicolas
such a big
Cage?
fan." Yeah. I'd totally go back, turn on a dime with that.
Let me ask you this. So we're talking about Mark Almond. We're talking about Soft Cell. What are some songs that you assumed growing up that were originals, but then you're listening to the radio or something, all of a sudden you hear something that has clearly come first? Soft Cell for me was one because I always assumed Tainted Love was an original, and then one day I'm listening to the oldie station and there's this 60s, I guess, version.
Yeah, that was definitely one. I think maybe I've heard the original once.
I always thought that Always Something There to Remind Me was an original. And then like I picked up this record, forgot what it was, but I was like from the 60s, and that version that I have on that record is also a cover. I was like, "Oh, this existed long before the 80s and probably this like 60s record." So I actually went back in the wormhole and found out it's recorded by like some woman in like the early 60s.
Yeah, Sandy Shaw did a really famous one in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
That might be I don't know if she did it first, but that was a hit for sure.
For me, it was which just shows how I had like a misspent youth. Like, it just wasn't right. Like, I always assumed Phil Collins wrote that song. I don't know the name of it, but it goes, "It's a game of give and take, now break, dum 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 dum." I was like, man, Phil Collins really stepped as a little kid, like 8 years old, sitting in the back car, the back seat while the radio's playing. Man, Phil Collins really stepped it up with this one. But of course, it's like I know it's a famous
It's like the Supremes.
Brill build. It's the Supremes. Okay,
At least they made it famous.
fantastic song.
All right, should we start the show?
And on with the show.
Jason, you have to do one now.
Here we go.
All right, I'm gonna stop this recording.
All right, everybody. This is the part of the show where we can see who can lift the heaviest thing over their head. Jason, we'll start with you. What do you have?
I'm going to attempt to lift this love seat I bought from IKEA.
Gabe, what do you got?
I found this rock outside.
Seriously? You're already holding it with one hand. You're going to lose.
I don't know about that. This puppy looks pretty heavy.
But it's clearly not.
We'll just see about that.
And I'll be lifting this flimsy cardboard box full of hardcover Lee Child novels. I'll go first.
You got this, Mike.
Thanks.
Oh, dear God, no!
Holy shit, Mike, are you okay?
Yeah, dudes, everything's cool.
Oh, Mike, you look different. Slick back hair, an oversized denim jacket, a chain wallet? And why aren't you wearing your glasses?
Oh, man. CM, is it really you?
Hey, is the FLSTF Fat Boy still the best Harley Davidson motorcycle?
I mean, I don't know. Probably. CM, it's great to see you again.
Will somebody tell me what the hell is going on? Where the fuck is his glasses?
Hey, baby, take a chill pill.
Calm down, Gabe. Allow me to explain. You see, whenever regular Mike suffers accidental blunt force trauma to the head, his much cooler and laid-back alternate personality, Cool Mike, takes over for a couple of hours before the bleeding becomes too much and I have to take him to the hospital.
I don't know, Jason. I've been waiting for Mike to become a cool person for a while now, but I don't know if it's worth all this blood. I mean, how cool could he actually be?
Really cool. Hey, CM, what music are you listening to?
bunch of bands you probably never heard of. I got some Eve 6, Harvey Danger, Marcy's Playground.
No, I've definitely heard of those bands before. And I mean, they're not that cool.
Yeah, I mean, those songs were all right when we were kids, but it's not really, like, cool or anything.
What do you guys know, huh? What CD you guys have in your Discman right now? The Dixie Chicks?
No, Mike.
It's cool, Mike.
No, cool, Mike. We don't have the Dixie Chicks in our Discman because we don't have Discmen.
Ooh, bro, you don't own a Discman? What are you, poor or something?
I mean, yeah, I am, but that's beside the point. Nobody has a Discman anymore.
Okay, hey guys, let's stop squabbling about Discman.
Ooh, squabbling. Ooh, somebody's been paying attention in school. Like, a nerd.
It's just a word, CM. You don't need to call me a nerd for it. Let's just hang out until I have to take you to the hospital.
No can do, chumps. I got a date tonight at Chi-Chi's with my chick Laura and a don't wait up. Now, if I could just find a phone around here. I see the phone jack over there, but it's not plugged in. Is it over here?
I don't know, Jason. Cool Mike kind of seems like an asshole.
Knowing these pricks, it's probably in the library.
I think I know what's going on here, old chum. Because of the rare and circumstantial events that need to take place in order for Cool Mike to take over, his perception of what is cool has not progressed beyond his last conscious outing.
Not even a phone book.
And when was that?
Oh, I know. The damn.
I believe it was the 1998 Horde,
Hey, you got it, Dan?
Horizons of Rock Developing Everywhere festival, when John Popper of Blues Traveler fame tried to do an air kick, but lost his balance and fell face first onto the stage, flinging his tactical harmonica vest straight at regular Mike's head.
I heard him mention a mud race.
Wow.
What the hell's a mud
That's just awful.
Indeed, a whole separate side to one man, lost in time and culture, whom can only break free with the whim
I don't know.
of fate.
No, not that part. The tactical harmonica vest thing. Did John Popper really wear that? Like, in public?
I'm afraid so. CM, just stop.
What?
You won't find a landline here, friend.
What do you mean?
I think you should sit down for this.
Jason, I don't know if this is a good idea.
Hey, shut up, nerd. I want to hear this.
You see, Cool Mike, it's not 1998 anymore.
It's not. What year is it?
You've been gone for a long time.
12 years.
What? No, Gabe. It's been 23 years. CM, times have changed. Those things we thought were cool back then just aren't cool anymore.
I mean, some things still gotta be cool from 1998. Like, oh man, what about Jay Leno?
I'm not sure if he was ever cool.
Sure he was. Hey, them denim suits, all them classic cars. What about I know Marilyn Manson.
Nah, man, that guy's an actual real-life creep now.
No, come on. What about the X Games?
Jeez, I don't think that's a thing anymore.
Also, I didn't want to say anything earlier, but the Dixie Chicks, they're just called the Chicks now.
Oh. Well, what about casual homophobia? That's gotta still be cool.
Hey, never cool. You're kind of an asshat, CM. We're taking you to the hospital. This segment is over.
Oh, Asregard, must you and your fellow knights leave us? We so have been delighted by your company.
I'm afraid so, O heavenly nymphs. Although we cherish the memories of the warm beds and many delicious meals you provided while nursing our wounds, Adventure awaits.
A word, Asregard. With all due respect, our quest, what is the end game?
Why claim the goblet of Zanzibar, nobly slaughtering all standing in our way?
No, I mean that does sound rather noble. But this enchanted forest, I do think we have reached what can only be described as paradise on earth.
Even a fool knows that paradise may only be achieved once we grip the goblet and unleash its true potential.
Alternatively, we stay here. Why, there's the lake of forever flowing wine, celestial linens, and the, not having people trying to stab us every waking moment.
Yeah, I couldn't help overhearing and feel Sir Pendleton has a point.
But what about the satisfaction of a triumphant battle, Montoff? I seem to recall morale was rather high after I filled the three-headed dog of Dartoon full of arrows.
Two-headed dog. And I'm pretty sure it was domesticated, Asregard.
Yeah, both its callers read Sweet Pea.
God, adventure fucking blows, Asregard.
Little Toby, not you too. Seeing the world through your childish eyes has only reinforced my desire to seek adventure.
And stop calling me little. I'm 34, damn it.
Well, surely you have grown. But let us not forget how I rescued you when you were just a babe of 3 years.
You rescued me right after personally burning my village.
And then took you in as an orphan?
I wouldn't be an orphan hadn't you, again, completely torched my village to a crisp with your flaming mace.
Are you saying you'd prefer a sedentary life over ACP?
Yes!
What is this ACP you speak of?
ACP, right. Well, before he took me into adventuring, conquering, pillaging, ACP, get it? Right. I was but 2 weeks away from getting my dentist degree. My stepdad,
Whom I slayed.
right, who you slayed, offered to take me into his practice.
Montoff, please. Why would a man choose to polish teeth when he can wear them?
Are those his stepfather's teeth?
What about the goblet's benefits? Eternal life's nothing to sneeze at.
Living forever sounds exhausting. Here we can relax and enjoy our lives.
And I wish to settle down, find love.
We love you, little Toby.
Love! Once we possess the goblet of Zanzibar, we may each enslave dozens of slags to perform our most depraved sexual fantasies.
You are cancelled, Asregard.
Apologies, ladies. I hope you know I prefer when one likes me for me.
Enough! Those who desire to stay, remain where you are. Others, who shall continue with the spirit of ACP, cross and stand proudly by my side.
Wish it didn't have to be like this.
We're just tired of sleeping in dank caves and jagged quarries, you know.
And my sciatica. It's off the charts.
Very well. I shall continue my journey alone and part from this ICT outfit. Ingrates, cowards, and traitors! Good day, nerds! Ah! The agony of 100 piercing arrows!
He'll be okay, right?
Never have I been less okay along my noble journey! Oh, the humanity!
Anyone care for wine? Parcheesi?
Yeah. Hey, let's crack open a cold one and listen to the satisfying sounds of cool guy names. Mason, Cody, Wyatt, Jet, flying high on the wings of cool. Aiden, Carter, Owen, Zach, keep it cool, Zach. Titus, Dylan, Isaac,
Philip. Hey, wait a minute. That's not a cool guy name. Get out of here, Philip. Luke. Restoring balance to the force of cool guy names. Chase. Magnus. Levi. Saddam. Hey, that's a cool name. Keith. Tyrone. Nate. Guy. A cool guy whose cool name is Guy? What a cool guy. Hunter. Landon. Asher. Joel Edgerton. I think we reached the pinnacle of cool right here. Join us next time for some more cool guy names.
When you fly your kite or model plane, remember you're in charge of a flying machine. Pilots have to observe safety rules. So must you. Make sure there are no pylons, overhead lines, or electric substations around.
Go!
Control lines, even if made of string or nylon, can conduct electricity, especially when they're wet.
Watch out!
Delta Zero Bravo, you are clear to take off.
Always make sure you're in a clear area to take off. Then you'll fly safe and play safe.
And we're back. We're going to pull something out of our archive for you folks. The year was 2012, and this was part of our very popular segment now showing. We all watched a film called It's Such a Beautiful Day, and we had a really great conversation about it. Unfortunately, this episode got lost in the shuffle a little bit because the news cycle of the day was dominated by the passing of Dave Brubeck. And so we thought it would be interesting to air the episode in its entirety. What do you guys think?
This will be this will be fun to listen to. This will be fun to listen to. An earlier version of all of us.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll play it back and we'll just sound so young.
So young, just green.
Just like puppies, just wide-eyed. Everything's new. Oh.
Well, I mean, there's only one way to find out, so let's roll the clip.
Hello and welcome to Now Showing.
It's Such a Beautiful Day. Gabe, this was your selection. How did you come across this movie?
Okay, so I was actually a big fan of the animator and director Don Hertzfeldt. He's did like a lot of like festival animation and work. It's been around several like television shows, and I always loved his sense of humor. And I had never seen the movie that we're about to review. It's Such a Beautiful Day. I thought it was going to be a little bit different. It turns out it was a little more serious than I had expected, and I probably should apologize, but
No,
I liked it. So I'll give and tell me if this nutshell, this capsule review of the plot is about right. So it's about it's animated. Young man, he's going through an existential crisis where he's also dealing with many life-threatening illnesses that pop up. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to tell you what happens.
let's not spoil it right away. Let's talk about it a little bit. Just we'll spoil it a little bit. Probably put in a time code where we actually let loose. But
Will was born late Tuesday morning into a world of orange and red. read once how each cell in the body replaces itself and dies as the years pass. How everyone is slowly reconstructed out of continuously changing pieces. In a world of orange and red. That afternoon, she told him it was over. Bill looks out of the water and thinks of all the wonderful things he will do with his life. She told him it was over.
Bill, can you hear me? Bill, can you look up here for me? Can you tell me what these objects are?
I really, really enjoyed this movie. It's especially coming as a fan of Don Hertzfeldt. Like, it was really a lot more mature of a feature that than he usually puts out. And I actually, looking at the credits, I saw that it was actually 3 short films put together that he put together over the years. But it was not at all what I was expecting. I was expecting like pretty like silly stuff, which this movie does have, but in the context, it's kind of treated. What do I want to say? The silliness is kind of overshadowed by what's actually going on when you find out later in the
you're
movie.
Like brought into that guy's world.
Yeah,
that character's Bill, I think, was the main
Bill.
character. Yeah,
who always wears a hat.
And, yeah, I mean, and after a while, you sort of start to see the world through his eyes because you learn about his family history, and it's just like his family history. They just seem to hang on like terrible illnesses and dread, and you can kind of see that, like, okay, this is where this guy's coming from.
Yeah, and to speak to what Gabe was saying about combining the 3 films into one. I mean, I guess it's not technically feature length, but it's kind of a full work. The film, if those of you haven't seen it, you can hunt it down, but it's about an hour long, and there's 3 parts. And I noticed when it hit the second part, you go back in time basically because it goes into childhood for a bit. And it starts to focus on the past a little more.
Yeah. There was also, which is a very 2012, a very now joke. Some of the little funny things were sprinkled in. I know bacon is very funny to use as a reference right now in 2012. It got in there. He was looking through old photos, and some of them were just pictures of lumber and bacon. So you get a little things like that in there. But one of the pictures, one thing that got a laugh, because again, it was very morose and dark. And not morose, I would say. It's realistic, but probably darker side of realism. But there was just random photos. He was going through his mother's stuff, and there was just one photo, and it just said boy in dress. And it was like no reference as to what it had to do with. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I think also this animation style, which is the main characters in it are kind of like stick figures in a lot of ways.
They're very well animated stick figures, which if you can imagine that.
I actually wrote down something about that somewhere in my notebook, but I was saying that though they're stick figures, the movement is very beautiful. And also that the faces communicate a lot with just very simple, like a movement of the mouth in a certain way. You can totally feel what the character is going through.
Yeah.
And there's also it's like a mixed media film. So you have this style of animation often shown in vignettes on the screen. So you would have 3 things popping up on the screen at once, and it would cut to things that are real life images too.
Yeah, that looked like they were projected, like a Super 8 style, like projected. Sometimes they'd be overlapping. I don't know if they were. What do you think? Do you think they were actually projected, or to me, I thought it was just made to look like that. Either way, it's cool. But how do you think he did it?
it's 2012 now, and like people are doing so much stuff on computers for animation. It's there now, but this film was actually like a 35 millimeter production.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to probably in the future they'll be doing a lot of stuff, right? Because they don't do it today. Today, it's 2012.
I mean, we do stuff on. We use computers for animation a lot now, but I see what you're saying though. Like in a decade from now or around, it's going to be probably well more reliant on it. It's just sort of heading that way.
Yeah.
But it might have just been an artistic choice to shoot it on 35 millimeter because it does have a bit more of a richness than straight computer animation.
I admire the way he animated it. It was very simple because like a lot of the time it would just kind of be like maybe like 3 circles and like blank space around it. So he didn't really have to work that hard to animate, but it really tells the story very almost like in comic book where it's like thought bubbles or speech bubbles, whereas like whatever the character's kind of conveying or thinking about, it would just have another circle pop up showing you exactly what it is, and it doesn't feel cheap. It just feels like almost like really focused. And we're going to reveal something why all that cloudiness is looks like that. It makes sense with the rest of the movie.
And and it was almost deceptively simple because there's like clearly some rules he set down for himself. Like, this is the way the animation is going to look. I'm not going to stop it at XYZ level because it was so simple. It was kind of amazing how he had Bill show all these emotions, and it wasn't just simple like happy, sad, upside down umbrella, regular, down umbrella for sad. No, he really showed a range of emotions for the main character. It was impressive. It was all black and white too, and then like there'll be like a splash of color, from the Super 8 vignette projection, but and sometimes those could be jarring. Sometimes it would be bright blue, aquamarine blue.
There was one sequence in it, because I think Mike kind of alluded to this, that the main character has some ailments in it and deals with that and just what that does to them as a person and how it affects their life. There's this one sequence in it where Bill is given medication, and he has this, I can only call it like a stoner dream. And it's very vivid, and it's sort of like a great depiction of what a bad acid trip would look like in an animated form. And I have to say that I did watch this movie a little bit under the influence. I know in 2012, these substances are not legal. We hope that some legislation passes.
I can't believe you revealed that on our podcast.
Are you saying you got ballroom blitzed?
I got ballroom blitzed.
Do you know how you get ballroom blitzed?
I'm trying to think of the lyrics.
No, you try some sweet leaf.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, I get that.
It's a comedy podcast, guys.
But one thing I was wondering, I was like, if I wasn't high during this sequence, would this just make me high? Like, would I just get high by watching it? It's just so intense. Oh, and then another thing I wanted to say, that sequence wasn't funny at all. It was just visually kind of crazy. But there was this one bit in it that I sort of thought had like a Family Guy level of commitment to the length of a gag.
Yeah.
Because sometimes Family Guy would be like, oh, remember that time I went to the whatever, and then they do a bit and it just hangs forever.
It goes on for like 10 minutes.
Because they have 12 minutes to fill.
Yeah. There was this one part where there's like a leaf blower guy blowing leaves.
Yeah.
And he just keeps blowing the leaves and blowing the leaves and blowing the leaves.
Oh, yeah.
It just went on and on and on. And it was, I gotta say, it was funny because it just didn't stop. Like you could think like, well, there's a half hour left in this movie. I wonder if they're just gonna go for it.
Yeah, just this is the rest of the movie.
With all this tragedy this guy goes through, he's almost programmed to look at the gloomy side of life. Real gloomy stuff starts to happen to him, and he, learns to appreciate the little stuff in life, which, someone told me a long time ago. Like, as I was feeling really down. I was having a really bad week and just negative. I would get and this person told me, just look around and you're gonna really concentrate and you'll find something amazing anywhere, and it'll kind of bring you out of that mood. And that worked a little bit, and I do that every day. But yeah, you have to learn to appreciate the little stuff. And when the Otis Redding song, you don't miss your water till your well runs dry, kind of the theme here, because he's like, oh man, I don't know how much longer I have left on this earth. And he starts appreciating life, the little things, like one of them was like just the way a shopping cart was like parked in an empty parking lot. It's a good scene.
Yeah. So should we just let the dog off the leash and reveal the rest of the movie? Spoilers from here on out.
Might as well. Yeah.
I don't think you could really spoil this movie because it's not, for me at least, it's not about
you kind of
the
see what's
plot
going to happen.
It's more about the visual.
Yeah.
But the journey.
But I feel like the first the 2/3 don't really explain what's going on until like he gets to the hospital. Basically, he has a brain tumor that's slowly killing him and is affecting his perception of what's real.
Yeah.
He can't remember anything. That's the way he did it. It's like one guy who wrote and did everything, but it was just so. It felt real to me. Like whenever like you go through a traumatic event or like told something that's like awful news or something, it's like just the fact that you like sometimes focus on these very little things and you don't know why, and like that just seemed like they did a lot of that in this movie where he's just kind of like is kind of sleepwalking through life, and then like he'll just think something and he's like, why did I think that? Like when the kid was trying to sell him magazines and he was like upset because they didn't offer Asian porn, and he was like, why did I think that?
Yeah, right. And I'll actually have those days like, all the time. I mean, I've never been tried. A child's never tried to sell me a magazine. That wouldn't be my magazine of choice. But I will start thinking like, man, like when was the last time I had marshmallows? Mm-hmm. And I have a lot of problems with my brain. But it's a skill to tell a story the way this kind of story, where it's not Indiana Jones, beginning, middle, and end. It's just kind of a journey, and make it interesting.
Can we just watch Indiana Jones next? Is there one none of us have seen?
I'll watch any of them.
One thing that Gabe was mentioning about the slow reveal about the brain tumor issue, I found that the narration that I don't think we really mentioned this yet, but you see all these visuals in the movie, and there's kind of like a narrator that's just, it's like almost like reading like a short story or something.
Yeah, there's narration about the whole movie.
And sometimes the narration kind of walks away a little bit from what you're seeing, or like what information that you need to know. And then once you kind of figure out what's happening to this guy, it makes more sense why it wanders away. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes even the narration will get cut off really in a jagged way. Like the person will be talking about something and then it just fades away really quickly, or it just goes away like almost like a glitch, but it's like a glitch in your thoughts.
But it's like listening to radio when all of a sudden the person talking just stops and you look to see if your radio's still working. Because there's one part where the narration dropped out and then a woman's voice came in. Bill, are you okay? I don't know what she sounded like.
Definitely didn't sound like that.
No, you know what? The more I think about it, the more I think she did sound like that. Exactly like that. You want some fruit pies?
But yeah, the narration.
No,
like,
it was jarring.
Even the narration, just the effectiveness of. Even that was like the unreliable narrator kind of, but it was like a third person narrator as well. Because there's some parts in it where even the narrator didn't really know exactly what was going on, or he doesn't really reveal anything to you. He's just kind of telling the story as the narrator sees it.
Especially the end. But wait, let's back up a second. Now, do you think it was it a tumor he had the whole time? I didn't hear that. I didn't pick up on that.
That's what it might have been, because like they don't actually say exactly what his ailment is. Which is, another thing. It's like unreliable. This narrator's just kind of telling it as he sees it. But I mean, that's my best guess.
But either way, it was a life-threatening disease or illness he had. Yeah.
So this broke my heart in several places. I think the most devastating one was when he went to his uncle. Well, first off, he starts driving just to drive and doesn't know exactly where he's going. And like there's parts where he like realizes that he's driving and then just keeps driving, then suddenly realizes that he's driving and just keeps driving. But anyways, he like ends up at his uncle's place, and his uncle gives him an address to basically find his father. And just the part where they wheel his dad out and his dad's looking at him and he's looking at his dad, and then neither of them know exactly who the other person is because their memories are so like faded at this point. Oh my God, that hurt me.
Yeah, they just watched a game show in silence, and then without knowing why he said it, she said, "You are forgiven," and this made the old man cry. Something like that.
Yeah. Oh man.
No.
I wanted to just mention this. One of my favorite sequences in this. I keep saying the word sequence too. I don't know why I'm hitting that word so hard today. But there's a part where they just show rain coming down, and I have to say that I've never really seen rain look that amazing before in animation or even just filming things. It was very simple, like drops coming down. They're in black and white. That might have been my favorite bit of the whole thing.
Yeah, it looks amazing for stick figures and just like little bubbles, and like in the third act, like when he learns to appreciate life, like the backgrounds become actual real footage in color, and like all of it's really bright and beautiful. The story's told very, very well.
And another random thing that I really loved, and I don't know if you guys have any other random moments you want to talk about, but there's this one part where the narrator says something like, Bill was stuck in traffic listening to terrible music. And then in the soundtrack, just for like 10 seconds, there's just this very like goofy, like bad disco music playing, like kind of like played on a keyboard, that's supposed to illustrate the terrible music.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant.
Yeah. I don't know, I kind of like that music. I was dancing to it.
At the beginning, he was sitting at a bus stop, and they were really disgusting. He's sucking the blood from a sore in his mouth. How do you get a sore in your mouth? My brain's a little broken myself, but I couldn't stop thinking about, like, are we going to find out how he gets that sore? Because I don't know how you get a sore in your mouth. Is this a thing people get?
I think if you eat a lot of salty stuff, that can happen to you.
Right? I mean, sometimes I bite down like on the inside of my mouth, and
really,
I have bad teeth, so they're just really jagged.
They sound like good teeth.
I have to be real careful when I eat.
If they could bite through raw meat, if they could bite through raw meat, they are good teeth.
So there are ways to watch this movie online, and we'll point people in that direction. But also, the filmmaker has a website called bitterfilms.com, and so you can purchase this film and other films, and there's just a lot of cool stuff on the site. I kind of perused it after I watched the movie, so I'm probably going to check out some other things.
Yeah, I highly recommend the rest of his stuff. It's a lot sillier, I will say.
Have you guys seen the Simpsons intro that he did?
I just saw that today online that he did one. I never knew about it until now. I'm going to watch it after we're done recording here. Is it intense?
It's really intense. You may have seen it and just you might not have known who the guy was or picked up his style at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But it's crazy, and it's one that I had seen before, and I went, oh gosh, yeah,
It makes sense now.
it's one of the it's one of the longer ones too. Like
Right.
it's a couch gag.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, The Simpsons were doing those couch gags with guests, like what Shepard Fairey did one that was like just calling out The Simpsons for using like Korean animators. You remember that one?
Oh, no, I want to watch that one.
Well, does anybody have any final thoughts?
The book, the Rig Veda, came to mind. If you ever peruse that, it's pretty much what that is. Just like meditations on like little things or that are always around you. It reminded me a lot of that. I think it's my final thought.
Okay, Gabe, do you have anything profound?
Oh, profound, no. But I highly recommend this movie. I think it's really well told. Animation's beautiful and simplistic. And, I mean, you're probably going to be a little bummed out afterwards, but, just be prepared.
Well, I think that wraps up this segment. Next week, we're going to go to the cinema. We were talking about seeing how Daniel Day-Lewis will be portraying Abraham Lincoln, so we'll share that out.
Is that coming out already?
Yeah, and there's already some Oscar buzz, so...
Oh, the only kind of buzz I like. Sweeter than the honey that a bee buzzes for. Did that work? I feel that didn't work.
No, I loved it. We're keeping it in.
It was the journey. It was a journey for me.
It's sweeter than that Tony buzz. Ugh, the Tonys.
It's such a beautiful day.
Time Mule.
Oh, now isn't that nice? Daddy wants to play his old man heavy metal loud enough so you could hear it in the basement, where Johnny can still hear it even though he's curled up in an old Admiral icebox.
I'm sorry, little Johnny. You got an F. You can't come to school anymore.
What? I can't hear you. Is it about my F? I can't hear in class.
Oh, okay there. I see what's going on now. So Dada, he got to hear his Deep Purple music, but Junior, oh no. He has to work in a salmon cannery in Namu. Sound pollution.
Sound pollution.
Blast that wax.
Oh, la-dee-da. Look at little Johnny. He's all grown up now, so he's got his wife, who plays with firecrackers in the bathtub, and Junior can't hear him going off, because of all of his sound pollution.
Let me take a shower.
Ew, your toes are gone. I'm leaving you.
Can't hear you. Sound pollution. Where are my toes? Where are you going? Is it because of my toes? Or all my sound pollution?
Sound pollution.
Sound pollution.
Blast that wax.
Well, now what do you expect Johnny to do? Oh no, wait, where's my dog? Banachek! Banachek, where are you, boy? Banachek! Banachek! Oh no. Oh no, this is horrible. Hi. Yeah, it's Rodney. No, I don't think he's coming back this time. No, I understand, but right. Can I at least get my snake skins back? No, I didn't think so. Wait, hello? Are you still there?
I mean, I can't tell if you're still there because of all my sound pollution. Hello? Oh. Great. Oh, shit. Hello? Wait, what? I'm being deployed? Ah, well, this is just fabulous. Sound pollution.
Sound pollution.
Blast that wax.
Well, fellas, that's another show wrapped up in a nice little package and ready to be sent out into the world. Hey, what did we learn today?
I learned that I like podcasting. Look at this.
Very sweet.
See this shirt I'm wearing?
Mm-hmm.
It says I. There's a little heart.
Yeah.
And then below it says podcasting. The G's
Oh,
gone.
is that what that means?
The G's gone, but they just replaced it with this little tiny line that's flying in the air.
Oh, that's fun. So it sounds like you're from the streets.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that so when you see like a heart in a sentence, you're supposed to say love.
Apparently so.
That's cool. It's like hieroglyphics.
You know that famous hieroglyphic artist Milton Glaser? Have you heard of him?
No.
No.
He did the I Heart NY campaign.
Oh, I didn't know that.
In Egypt.
We're learning something new today.
Who's your favorite Egypt guy? Is it old alligator head, bird head? There's one that looked like a parakeet head. That's probably my favorite Egyptian person in history.
I just like a classic jackal.
Jackal's good. He comes, oh God, you guys want to hear something really embarrassing? When I was in middle school, I thought I couldn't even play. I didn't own a guitar. I was like, guys, these kids I hung out with who just smoke pot all the time. And we were like, guys, we should start a heavy metal group, right? And one of the names we come up with was Anubis, which was Jackal Head. He's the Egyptian god of death. And we were like, yeah, that's totally such a good album name. That's such a good name for a band. So bad.
You showed up, you said you didn't know how to play guitar at the time.
I didn't own one.
You showed up and you just had a pick in your hand.
Oh, yeah, I was totally going to be the lead guitar player.
Over to you, Gabe. I haven't heard what you've learned yet.
I've learned that next time I pick a movie, I should know a little more about it before I pick something so dramatic, but I think we all liked it and it was a good fit.
Yeah, I'm going to say we can leave this open to any kind of movie, no matter the genre or the mood. So I don't want to hear any regret.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to hear the sound of regret in your voice. I love that movie. And
oh my God, it's like I'm talking to my therapist.
Oh, and your 50 minutes is up, Gabe.
15 minutes. That's not great. But no, with the movie, you could, it's fun when you jump in and you don't know what you're going to see.
And speaking of which,
yes,
we know what's coming up next month for October. It is a 1977 Japanese horror comedy film called House. And this movie, at the time of our recording, is available to watch from HBO Max.
Yeah, HBO Max.
HBO Max? That's good. Do you know, not the 80s, there was also one, I think from the 80s, that had George Wendt in it.
Oh yeah, the second one was way better. House 2, the second story.
Do you know who George Wendt's nephew is?
I
Old
do
trivia.
indeed.
Oh, you know.
Mr. Ted Lasso.
Mr. Ted Lasso himself, Jason Sudeikis. And if you got that at home, send in your proof of purchase, and you get into the Mike Club for free. Now, what's in the Mike Club, you may ask? A tin star that's a sheriff on it. You get that. You can wear that wherever you want. A pencil.
We didn't discuss this.
It's free. I just want people in this club.
I bought so many sheriff stars.
And all the children's Tylenol you can stuff in your little tummy.
All right. That's our show. Goodbye, everybody. Until the next time.